Welcome back to Young Trip Reactions. The first video we're going to do is woman says that her standards are higher as a single mother. Men should do more for her and her son. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, join the Young Trip family. If you have any videos you run across that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post it in my community tab or send it to me through direct message over on Instagram. If you have anything personal going on or any, police brutality or anything happened to you, a relative, a friend, or anything like that that's big, high news, and you just want more activists on the case, or they do, send me a direct message over on Instagram, and we can talk about that over there. Also, come follow me over on Instagram, because I post over there as well, too. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification, and join the Young Trip family. And let's get into this.
I recently got broken up with, and I kind of alluded to it in one of my videos because I'm a content creator. I share my life, so obviously I was posting about my relationship. And this isn't something I was gonna speak directly about at all, honestly, because I'm obviously a little hurt by it, but I'm also a mom and life goes on. But somebody commented something on one of my videos, on several of my videos actually. It was obviously a fake page. So now I want to speak on it. Specifically, I want to speak on dating as a single mother and the standards that you should have and that you should never settle.
It's so crazy how they talk about all these standards once they have the child, and all these standards that they have now that they're a single mother. Why not have these standards at the beginning and actually have good standards that's worth having? Because one of the things that I've noticed is women, once they have kids, they try to have good standards by trying to turn the guy that they should have dated at the beginning and turn him into a simp step crash dummy and date them after they done went out here, slutted around, kicked it with, everybody and anybody, or at least one guy or two guys they didn't have no business kicking it with, giving them the best years of their life, looking the best, super skinny, haven't had a child yet. And again, there's nothing wrong with, somebody being a bit on the heavier side. There's men who like women that are a bit on the heavier side. But I'm not talking about naturally. I'm talking about you gain weight from having a child, right? I know women that have had children, had 2-3 kids, and lost weight and went back to looking like how they looked in high school. So and there's people who are naturally heavy set, and that's been their whole life. So I'm not body shaming or nothing like that. What I'm saying is, why does the good guy get you after having children and more likely probably on the heavier set side now? Why does he get to get you, after everything is over, but the guy who should have never had you in the first place got to have you when you were in your youth, skinny, every dude trying to kick down the door to date you, but the guy who is worth dating has to wait to have you after the guy who should have never had you in the first place got to have you when you were skinny, pretty, and everything else. And then he knocked you up with 2 or 3 kids, and now you want to go run to the guy you should have been dating in the first place and be like, oh, now I got all these standards, even though, you know, oh, yeah, I used to be skinny and I used to be this and that, as you know, from if I knew you since high school, or I'm over here flashing pictures in your face of how I used to look, but this is how I look now after having 3 kids. And again, I'm not body shaming or nothing like that. I'm just telling it, how it is. It's so crazy. It's so weird that you don't want the good guy right away. You want to go out here and play games first. And that is crazy. And then say I got higher standards now that I didn't have 2 or 3 kids or a kid or so. And now I'm a little bit, on the heavier side, or I lost my weight. Maybe you did lose your weight and you still look like how you look in high school and got it back. But the thing is, why have these standards after having children? Why do you have these standards that, oh, now I want a good guy. Now I have all these standards. Now my standards are higher for you to date me. That is absolutely insane. When you should have had those standards from the beginning, you should be telling that dude that you really wanted to date. No, I don't want to date you. I'm going to go date this guy over here because I know that I may have a real serious long-term relationship. Because another reason why you want to go date this other guy who will that fits all your standards and all this other stuff. He's 6 feet tall, making $6K a month, probably got that white picket fence life, can, buying you a house and all that. And either he's, he got a big old corporate job or he out here doing something illegal and he's not treating you right. He's cheating on you. He's treating you like crap. And then you just decide, well, now I'm done, and then you either go date another guy like him, several other guys, because as we know, women is always trying to change a man to love and like them by giving up their goodie basket. And that's how you end up popping out 1 or 2 kids, thinking that that's going to make them change and only be in love with your goodie basket, but they out here getting other women's goodie baskets too. And it doesn't work. And then you realize that it doesn't work with all the different men that you try to date instead of dating the man you should have been dating. Now you want to go to the guy you should be dating after having 1 or 2 or 3 kids with the person that you should have no business dating, or different dudes that you don't have no business dating. And once you do that and realize all that didn't work, then you go to the guy you should have been dating in the first place and say, now I got all these ridiculous high standards now. Crazy. When you should have had great, good standards and reasonable standards at the beginning and dated the dude you should have been dating, then you would have had a great life for you, your kids. You would be still married or successfully dating and, living together and building, versus trying to walk into somebody's life who already has everything set up from them probably either doing something illegal or they already then built a life and then brought you into it. So then they think that they can boss you around and control you and all that. And you get all upset with it because now he didn't put his hands on you and all that. And now you want to leave. And now you want to go to the guy you should have been dating all along. But now you have all these standards, for him to try to meet to date you. No, that's crazy, yo. Absolutely crazy. If you just get with the right person from the beginning, you could avoid all of this. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Trip family. Let's continue.
And because I choose dating as a single mother and the standards that you should have and that you should never settle. And because I choose to share my life on social media means that I'm sharing the ups and downs. And unfortunately, when you're dating and trying to find somebody to eventually marry, because I do date to marry.
It's so crazy too how they state, oh, I'm dating to marry. Do you know that dating to marry does not mean that everything is going to go rainbows and gumdrops the way you want it? or the person may be exactly how you want them to be. They may check a lot of boxes, but not every box. So like, for instance, like a person like myself, me being like legally blind, I may be a great person for somebody, but because you're so busy focused on the legally blindness and worried about what friends and family and what everybody's going to say and what society says, nope, I'm just going to friend zone you and all that because of your situation. When I could be a great person for you to date and maybe even the best person for you to date, but because you are worried about what everybody will think about my condition, you think that, oh, he can't be a real man. He can't do this. He can't do that because of the condition. It also reminds me of the video, if you guys have already seen it, the video that I put out about LeVar Bond, where his wife left him with him getting diabetes, and they had to, take off part of his leg and all that, and how she was like, I'm out of here, and filed for divorce. And I've even seen other videos besides the one that Willie put out to know that this is also very recent. Absolutely insane and absolutely crazy, because sickness and for health, you should be able to hang around and stay around, but because somebody looks different and is different now because now they got to get a prosthetic leg, or you think that their whole life is going to change because of their situation. A good person is always the person that you usually want to friend zone, divorce, leave, all that. LeVar Bond's wife was so good and satisfied as long as he had everything working. Both of his eyes, both of his legs, both of his arms, both of his hands. And when they said, oh, we got to take off part of his leg, bye. It's absolutely insane and crazy to me. And then they always wonder, where are all the good men at? The good men are the people who are always trying to figure things out, who may be going through things. They may fall on a hard time. They may be homeless for a little while. They may, they may lose their job. Anything could happen. The men that are worth dating, most women don't even want to date them, because they don't have this picture perfect rainbow and gumdrop life like some person that's a CEO of a company, or out here selling illegal stuff 24/7 and don't even have a full-time job on top of doing something illegal. It's absolutely insane and absolutely crazy. Let's continue. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Trip family.
I want to be married one day, but I'm sharing the ups and downs. And unfortunately, when you're dating and trying to find somebody to eventually marry, because I do date to marry, I want to be married one day and I want to have a family, you're going to go through heartbreak.
Let me stop right there, y'all. I always like to give the credit to the content creators, regardless of whether or not I agree. And so that link is going to be down in the description, back to their profile or whatever. And I try, right? In 2025, my resolution is to handle these subjects with care.
Omega-3s are vital for your heart, mind, and body. Nordic Naturals takes your...
I'm nothing like I used. And I try, right? In 2025, my resolution is to handle these subjects with care. I'm nothing like I used to be when I used to just be absolutely, positively savage and transparent with my thoughts. I'm trying to be a little bit more kosher with how it is that I handle situations. So I am going to handle this as delicately as I can, right? But at the same time, I just do not understand. I get it, but I don't. But it's almost like an oxymoron. And the reason that is, and I'm going to play the rest of it, but let me just give you my thoughts, my initial impact when I hear people say some of the things that they're saying. I want a family. I want to be married one day, right? My standards as a single mother is higher. So we didn't have high standards prior to becoming a single mother, which obviously would lead you to vet more effectively. And I've heard every single excuse that you can hear in the book. Oh my God, he is a narcissist. Oh, it just didn't work out. No. As a person that has been married for 20 plus years, almost 21 years, to the person that I went to high school with, literally, she's sitting right over there waiting for me to come over there so we can watch this stupid Gladiator 2 movie. And she trying to get me to sit in the car for 45 minutes at a new Raising Cane's that just opened up. Neither here nor there. But as a person that has been married for 20 plus years, I have about to be a 17-year-old that just got her second car already. And, we was discussing some stuff as a family and all of that stuff. We took it very, very, very serious. And I mean serious. Because what's more important than a person that you marry is the person that you lay down with and open up your legs to. And so people that are having children, and I'm not sure if she had children out of wedlock, like I'm not going to prejudge the situation, but I just don't understand how people don't take that deadly serious. The most important thing that ever happened to me in my life is my daughter. And I vowed to myself that my daughter, no matter what the circumstances, and, me and her mother, we are very intentional and life is good. But I vowed to myself that my daughter will absolutely positively have the upbringing that I had. She will never experience what a broken home is like. I will do everything in my power to ensure she has the covering, the future, and all of that stuff. So, I don't get how people then raise their standards after they have children when they didn't really have those same standards to begin with. It is mind-boggling for me. It is just insane, honest to God. And that's not dissing her. I don't know who this person is, even though I'm linking back into their profile. But at the same time, we have to have a conversation because this is something that she's saying out to the general public, which then makes it a cultural norm. And this is stuff that I see every single day. And now it's become normalized for people having this mentality. And instead of being very proactive, they're being reactive. And then they somehow get offended. Or they start to get impacted when people comment on something that they put out there to the general public. It's weird. But let's hear the rest of what she got to say, and then we're going to rock out.
Some relationships are going to work out, some aren't. So I choose to be in a relationship with somebody, whether it works out or not. It's a chapter in my life, and I'm thankful for it.
If it works out or not, it's a chapter in her life. But you're bringing innocent children, and this is the part that people don't understand, and all people, including people that I know, relatives, and other people, and friends, and other people that I know as well too. You do not consider a child as a chapter. A child is not a book that you are reading. If you want to kick it with somebody and be protected and all that, so then you don't bring any innocent people into the world without being in a successful dating relationship or married, then wear hats, wear whatever, take whatever, so then you don't bring innocent people into the world and into your life that you don't know if it's going to last forever, or at least until that child is, the law is going to say 18. I'll even say at least 21. And then they still may need help throughout their life. But again, you could separate and do that because now that's adult things. They could go to their father for one thing, go to their mother for another thing. But then at that point, they're adults. But I'm talking about as they grow up from a newborn child until 21 years old. And you talking about, every person is a chapter in my life, like a book. Yeah, that part may be true as in you, if you're just leaving it where it's just you and that person. And so then when you separate, it just affects you and that person. But if it's affecting other people, is what I'm saying, that you should not just be like, well, It was just a chapter in my life, and now there's a human person. And now you're co-parenting, and the child is going to the father on Saturday and Sunday, and the child is living with you Monday through Friday, or the child is going to the father on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, and the child with you Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Oh my God, man. Let's continue. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Trip family. That is not what you should be trying to make the goal. The goal is to try to stay together and get with somebody who is worth getting with, not trying to have chapters of dating different people and then having children with them and then having them grow up in broken homes. Let's continue. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Trip family.
Because it comes with growth. I choose to be in a relationship with somebody, whether it works out or not. It's a chapter in my life, and I'm thankful for it because it comes with growth at the end of the day. And this person commented something like, oh, I wonder if it's her, the reason why the relationships fail. If it's me, if it's not, it doesn't matter. The only thing that I look at in these situations is that the relationship was not for me or for...
If it's you or if it's not, it doesn't matter. If it's you, the reason that the relationships are failing, because in the beginning she said that she just basically got broken up with. If it's you or it's not, it absolutely matters. In everything in life, you got to do an assessment. You have to do a test. You have to see what it is that you did wrong. You have to do a peer review, a review of your performance on the job, a quarterly review, a yearly review. You always got to go back and figure out what you did wrong or if you can improve. Even if you launch a successful product, if, us in the software engineering world, we always do a reassessment, or we come back and we say, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? How can we sprint better this on this time than we did the last time? And so what do you mean? It absolutely matters. If you are the toxic person, and that's not saying that she's a toxic person, but if you're the person that continues to get the same results, but you always say it doesn't matter, then how can you raise your child in a conducive environment when you wasn't able to maintain the relationships prior to you having this whole video that you dropped for the general public? And of course, you're going to have women in the comments that, oh, mommy, you're going to have a simp in there saying, you so beautiful, all of this shit. But the reality is that if you're not getting the results, you have to go back and look at what you're doing wrong. And I know what the sentiment is always. Oh, it just means that we not for each other. It's not our time. We wasn't aligned. No, dog. No. Because winners get picked. Honest to God. Nobody is leaving an ideal situation on the flow for just right. You know what I'm saying? It's like a winning lottery ticket. Finding a woman that is marriage material is like a winning lottery ticket. And y'all already know that I do not, and I will never advocate for dudes who are going to raise somebody else's child. That is crazy, but...
For my son, because I cannot just date for myself. I also have to date with my son in mind because I have him 24/7. I am his primary...
You have him 24/7. What happened to the person that you were talking to? That is another thing. If you have your child 24/7, that means the father is no longer involved. That means that you were with somebody that was definitely not worth being with. Because a lot of women, she could be over-exaggerating it though. Because 24/7 means that the father is no longer involved. If the father is involved, then you don't have him 24/7 because he goes to the father on the weekends, or he goes to the father certain days of the week, or something like that. If you have him 24/7, then this dude did exactly like I would say that always happens to a majority of these types of women, that they get you pregnant, or they stay around until they get you pregnant, and then they leave. These are dudes that you should not be trying to change. You cannot change anybody. Just like I state in so many other videos, you cannot change a woman that's in the streets and turn her into a housewife. You cannot turn a man who is always out in the streets, don't have no job, never really ever had a job, and think that you can turn him into a hardworking dude, only loyal to you, only kicking it with you because you giving up your goodie basket. It doesn't work. It's the same thing like us men have always been taught. You cannot train a woman who is for the streets and try to turn her into a housewife. I do not understand, just like Anton was saying, I do not understand why these women don't understand that it's the same thing for men as it is for women. You cannot train a man to become a hard-working man, a provider, and only want to be loyal to you and only sleep with you and be there for you and the child that they created with you. It does not work that way. They're just going to beat you up, leave, and not be involved. Or they'll be involved, but the child is over at their house, and then the child is over at your house. It's a broken home. You're not together, not as a couple. Oh my goodness, bruh. But this is what we have normalized. It is crazy. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Trip family. Let's continue.
Parent, I'm his primary care for my son because I cannot just date for myself. I also have to date with my son in mind because I have him 24/7. I am his primary parent, I'm his primary caretaker, and that's a lot of responsibility for a man to take on. So, one, I have to be very selective in who I date, and two, the person I date has to also be prepared for, if we take this relationship a step forward, are you prepared for the responsibilities that come with being with me? I don't necessarily think that somebody has to be at fault or something has to be wrong with a person just because a relationship doesn't work out. I don't believe.
You have to take responsibility if a relationship does not work out, ma'am. You have to look in what happened for the relationship not to work out. Most women want to try to make the man that you want work out versus accepting the men that really will date you and be in a real relationship with you. You want to try to go make a guy be with you by giving up your goodie basket to think that that is going to make him fall in love with you because, dang, her goodie basket's so good. No, he's just going to keep beating up the goodie basket, go beat up somebody else's goodie basket, but turn you into the girlfriend because your goodie basket is probably better than everybody else's that he ran across right now. So he then turns you into the girlfriend. So he's beating your goodie basket up with no hat on. Then you get pregnant, and then the child comes, maybe he hangs around for a few more months or maybe a year or something like that. Then all of a sudden, he gone. Because now he done found the new you, a fresh goodie basket that's better than yours. And now all of a sudden, he done left you or whatever, or he making you mad so you'll break up with him so he can go to that new goodie basket that he already then had. And he's not loyal to you. He's not somebody who appreciates a relationship or respect a relationship. He just like getting more goodie baskets because you ain't even the person that he really want to be with. And you may want to really be with him, but he really never really wanted to be with you. He just was with you, or he did want to be with you, but now you're annoying and now he doesn't want to be with you because whatever reason. But there are men out here, if you're a good woman, there are men out here who will actually be with you and want you and be in a serious relationship with you. But most women don't want to accept that a real man will come with actual situations and issues, not necessarily like issues bad, but just life things. He may, like I said, fall and become a little bit homeless. He may lose his job. He may have some form of a disability like, being legally blind or, have a prosthetic leg now, like the situation with LeVar Bond, or just anything like that. Anything may happen because life is lifing. I know people who lost their vision at 30. I know people who lost their vision at 12, 14, 15. I know people who, I know a lady that worked with me at one casino job. She was trying to drive herself to the hospital and had a stomach ulcer bust. And because she was trying to take herself to the hospital when her mom was trying to take her. But she kept saying she could take herself. And she crashed into rocks and flew out of her car and landed on her spine and broke her whole spine. And now she can't no longer walk. So, I mean, anything can happen to anybody, including you at any time. That's why you should be more sympathetic regarding people that you date, who you talk to. Be open-minded. Don't be assuming that somebody can't do something because they got a disability, assuming that because they're legally blind, they can't be a real man and really be in a serious relationship with you, and all these other crazy things that you then jump to conclusions about, or worried about what your friends, what your cousin, what your daddy, what your mama or somebody else gonna think. Because if a person is a good person, they are a good person. And if you really think they're a good person, that's all that matters. Usually the person who is actually the best person and a good person to be with is usually the person that most people want to close the door on and friend zone, or say heck no, or be worried about what their friends and stuff is going to think, is usually a person that you should be dating. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Trip family. And then you can avoid being in situations like this, like she's in. Let's continue.
Believe that at all, because somebody has to be at fault or something has to be wrong with a person just because a relationship doesn't work out. I don't believe that at all, because you're seeing if somebody is going to be for you or not. And if you decide to date somebody who ends up not being for you, that doesn't mean that something's wrong with you at all.
But you date long enough first to determine if they're for you before having children. So if you're going to be intimate, you will make sure that they wear a hat. You will make sure you take birth control, things like that, so you don't prevent bringing innocent people into the world. That's how you solve that. Let's continue.
Dating is a journey if somebody is going to be for you or not. And if you decide to date somebody who ends up not being for you, that doesn't mean that something's wrong with you at all. Dating is a journey and is a process, and I would say 10 times more serious when you have a child, and also harder when you have a child. Not impossible, but harder. I made a YouTube video about this actually. And I'm super open to dating, obviously, because like I said, I want a family and I want to have more kids. But it's really important that you find the right person and find a person that's going to choose you and your child and everything that comes with that. And it's not for everybody, and that's okay. You're not supposed to be for everybody. And just because something doesn't work out doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you at all. So y'all will probably see me dating again eventually. I'm obviously not ready right now, but I'm never going to not be open to dating because I know what I want in life. And I'm still going to share that with y'all because, one, it's my job, and two, I love to share my life.
Shout out to her. Again, I always like to support the content creators regardless of whether I agree with it or not. Yeah, man, that's a hard do. And I personally would never advise that a guy do something that I wouldn't do myself. I would never go and raise another man's child. It is a thankless job, and I call those guys step crash dummies. But if a woman is able to finesse a guy into doing it, then more power to you. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I can't wait to read some of y'all comments, man. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Be nice.
Expedia helps.
Yeah, I'm with Anton. Like, no, I've been a part of that road and learned that no, that is not gonna work. It's not good. I'm with Anton. I advise anybody to not do it. For some people, it do work out for them. I know people, and have people connected to my life that it has worked out for them. But that is a hard job. It's a risk. And at the beginning, you are definitely a simp step crash dummy. And in the end, you could just become a normal dummy. You know what I'm saying? Which means that it worked out, that you crazy to be with somebody who already has kids from a previous relationship or a child from a previous relationship, especially if you don't have any kids. For people who already have kids from previous relationships, hey, you do what you do. But if you don't have any kids or didn't have any kids and you met somebody and they happen to have kids, yeah, you are definitely a simp step crash dummy. And, you know, if it did work out in the end, you just became a dummy. That's it. Let me know what y'all think. I'll have the original video pinned at the top of the chat and in a link in the description. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Trip family. If you have any videos that you run across that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post it in my community tab or send it to me through direct message over on Instagram. If you have anything personal going on, send that to me through direct message over on Instagram. You know, any police injustice or any like relationship stuff that you know just want to you know get some advice on or talk with me about or anything like that. Send that to me through direct message over on Instagram. You know, especially if it's something to advocate for. You know, like something happened regarding you and a relative or a relative, you know, involving the police and, you know, stuff like you've seen on my channel or, you know, anything like that, anything just absolutely insane and crazy that you want more awareness brought to it or need somebody exposed or anything like that. Send me a direct message over on Instagram. We'll talk about that. If you run across any videos that you want to hear me react to on the channel, you can post that in the community tab or send it to me through direct message over on Instagram. Also, come follow me over on Instagram because I post over there as well too. But yeah, any relationship stuff or anything regarding where you need an activist to you know, help you you know, fight for something against something else or somebody else or a company or something like that, send that to me through direct message over on Instagram. For any videos you want me to react to on the channel, you can post that in the community tab or send that to me through direct message over on Instagram. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Trip family. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.